What's up, guys, and welcome back to December 16th of 1858 here at the Nerd Castle in our LP, our ongoing playthrough of Sang-Froid on hard mode. We have been playing with Jack, and let's jump on in since it's been a little bit since I played this one last, so it's going to take me a moment to remember and to flow back to where we had first. I gotta get I Ching. I gotta get myself into my chi zone with all of this. And so, Mashti Wash, it's talking about the Indian village here. You can pause it and take a look at the flavor text if you want to. Our good friend, the Derpy Wolf, here just still laughing, just having a great old time. Chapter 12, Lies and Confessions, December 16th, 1858. Well,
they're here. They walk in our land.
Did the Mycans call them?
Yes, and they have destroyed 3 logging camps and slaughtered families. They travel the territory seeking the children of Maniwapikwan.
Go warn the sons of Maniwapikwan that the Wendigos are coming, and give them the trap you made to repel them.
Those are our tribal secrets!
Go, now!
he walked away all pouty. God. Well, as we saw in that cinematic, lumberjacks are known for falling to pieces when the times get rough. But in any case, this is the next day, and so we're actually pushing the extent of my knowledge. As I recall, it's been a long time since I actually played this game last, and so I am on the edge of my expertise here. I believe we get like a ballista or a ballista or something next, I think is the next trap that they give us, but we haven't gotten it yet. But in any case, let's take a look at our waves here. So in our first wave, we have 2 gents that are very interested in heading to the church. We also have a guy over here who's interested. It's a Mycon warrior, and so are these all Mycons? Okay, they're all Mycons. What's in the second wave here? Of course, they're gonna tempt me. So we have options here. And we've got wolves. Okay, we've got a pretty sizable force that's all headed towards the same area in the second little bit of the LP. So there's going to be a couple ways that we can approach this. I think the way that I'm going to choose to approach it, maybe... Yeah, let's take a look at wave 1 first. We'll deal with wave 1 on the first hand. So let's deal with these 2 guys right here that are headed for the church. So first and foremost, we want to start making barricades, but first I want to see what their path is. So he's coming down from the north to the south, and he's going to land right there, and he's coming that way. Now, what I would like to do is actually get them gathered on the same path. That would be idyllic. That would be the way that I would really like it to turn out. And so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to take barricades for now. What we're going to do with the barricades is we're actually just going to kind of make sure that everybody goes in the direction that we want. And we are using up some AP, but they do give you more and more as time goes along. Now, I want him to go back around, and I think what's going to happen here, if I'm not mistaken, he's going to try and go down through there, isn't he? Is anything on wave 2 going to mess with us here? No. So wave 2, we actually don't have anything to worry about. So what I'd like to do is pipeline him up and around. And so that's exactly what we're going to do. And it looks like they're both now on the same path, which is going to work out a mighty fine. And then down here, we have another Mycon. So what we'll do with the Mycon down here is actually see if we can get him squared away. I think we'll have time to deal with him in the long run by using our shout, possibly. This is going to be a rough one, I think. This may be... Yikes. I've got to figure out a way to get these guys dogpiled on the exact same location. And I think the best way to do that is going to be to trigger a shout down here, or maybe to grab him with my stink and save my shout for this up here. And so let's see what we can do with our stink. Now, he's going to come around this way. That's perfectly fine. I actually think we're going to do just fine getting there in time. So what we'll do is we'll actually put a net trap there, and we'll just set up and wait for him. I don't know which way the wind is going. Oh, the wind is going to the northeast. Okay. And so that's going to be a problem as well. We're actually going to have to shift our stink pretty early on. In fact, before the level even starts, But I think if I can get him with a net trap, let's take a look. 42 points of damage. How much HP does he have? 35? Okay, that'll work out in our favor. And then with these gents right here, these mages only have 20 HP, which means that realistically, I think we could get away with maybe a net trap right here if we can actually catch them with it. And so we'll see what we can get done. This one's going to be a little bit tougher in any case. I would hate to have to end up fist fighting some of these guys, and it's almost a temptation to allow the mages to come back through, but I think this is the way we're going to have to play the first round. So let's take a look at our skills first, because I always like to allocate my skills before I go into a level. Every playthrough of this game has been a little different for me. You get the same mobs every single time, but there are a number of strategies you can take. Now, we have the opportunity to upgrade to baiting, or we can have sniping, which means we cause way more damage if we fire from the top of a watchtower. We can make our net traps do more damage, which we already took. We can make ourselves better at taking damage so we can get some extra HP, but since it's based on a percentage, not going to help Jacques out that much, actually. It's going to be not that great of an upgrade. Like 25%, he's only going to get like 10 HP from there. So he might be able to take like one extra hit in the long run. The other thing we might consider is Marksmanship 2, or better traps, which this is actually a pretty decent attack. I don't know if the fire stack, the bonfire, actually holds off Mycans. I don't know if it does. That's something that I would probably do some research on. I know that it holds off supernatural creatures, but until that I know that it kind of disperses Mycans, I wouldn't waste a point on it. When you kill an enemy in melee combat, we get more stamina. I think instead what I'm going to go for... Yikes, that's a tough call. I think I'll go for the advanced traps. What does the third one do? It holds for 25 seconds. Okay, I'm going to go for trapping 2. We may not use it during the course of this mission, but what this talent does is it makes it so our traps actually deal damage to werewolves and grand werewolves, whereas before it would just grab them and hold on to them. So I think that'll probably work out for us. The nervous beaver trick seems interesting too. God, I'm so just conflicted right now. I suppose I'll go with the nervous beaver trick. I don't necessarily... Yeah, we'll go with that first. We'll see what we come around with on the next mission. We're obviously going to want to upgrade our lumberjacking when it gets to that point, because 10 cents per 10 AP is a pretty amazing amount of money. It's going to help us get equipped and set up for the future. I'm going to bring my magic axe and my normal gun into this conflict. We have 595. We should probably swing through town, so let's do that, because we've got some traps laid down, but honestly, the game turns into a lot of micromanagement at this point. You always want to make sure you're hitting town every single time, especially with Jack, because when you're playing as Joe, he honestly doesn't need healing items. If you take one whiskey into every fight, you'll probably be fine, or one eau de vie. And see, what else does he have? I think he got something new here. Irish whiskey. That's going to give us more fear factor, actually. It makes us scarier. So we get nice and drunk, and we become a terrifying drunk, some of whom I've known in my life. Definitely a, well, not a useful skill. Typically it's a self-destructive skill, but for fighting werewolves, I suppose being more terrifying could be helpful. And there's a few new axes here. We can get a King's Double Bit, which we can not afford, which, you know, not too much of a letdown there. I should take a look and see what guns are available, because frankly, it's about time we upgraded from this ridiculous 1700s musket into something a little bit better. Now, the gun that I want, the double-barreled Remington, is $6, so if we can make a little bit of money on this level, I think we'll be alright. I'd also very much like to get ourselves some armor, but for now, what I'm going to do is buy out his stock of bullets, because you always want to make sure you have lots of bullets. I have run out in a few of my playthroughs, and it has never turned out well for me. It's something that you generally want to avoid. Taking a look at our supply of holy bullets, we've got 5. And so I think that's more than enough for now. We'll buy more in the future when we need them. There's no point throwing our money away right now. The mayor's office is closed, and so is the church. So we'll return to our house. I'm also going to take a look at Mashtihuash and see what items they have for sale, because the items that come in become progressively more useful, and you can actually tailor your playstyle around them. You can become kind of a fear-mongering, terrifying badass. If you want a silver tomahawk, that's pretty badass. A Mycan talisman, that's going to give us a permanent fear factor against everything, which means when we land a hit, it's going to make them stay the hell away from us for longer. We've also got a bear talisman that's going to allow us to have a bit more stamina. Now, the silver bullets are something that I'm tempted to buy simply because they go out of stock, and so having some extra silver bullets on hand is going to help us in the future. So I'll buy 5 more, this way we have a nice even divisible by 5 number. I don't know why, I've always been attracted to numbers that are divisible by 5. I think a lot of people are that way. They make me feel a lot better, but our traps are in place. We're going to see what kind of kills we can get done here. I think with any luck, I should be able to catch at least one of the bad guys in that trap, at which point I'll just duke it out with the other ones, I guess. It's a tough call, honestly. I don't really know the best way to handle Mycans as of yet. They tend to be a little bit difficult to manage, especially if you don't have a silver weapon. Now, if I can manage the second wave all with traps, I think it's going to be a little bit easier. Now, these 3 are all going to the same location, which interestingly enough may help us in the long run. What we might consider doing is, which way is he going? Are they all taking the same path? See, they're not all taking the same path, but we can force them to take the same path, which I think is exactly what I'm going to do. So we'll put that in right there, a fire barricade. And honestly, I think I can get them all with traps. I think I can. Just like the little engine that could. So let's go ahead and see where we can put a spike trap here. We can put one right there, and the first thing that I'd like to do with it is take a bait, and we'll drop that in the center. And I think that should get, how many of them? Let's do a head count. So we've got 2, 6, 8. And so that's going to get at least 3 of them, which puts us down to 5. The second group, I can fight them, I think. I can fight them off perfectly fine without having to end up in a bad situation, but all of these guys are going to be a little bit rougher. The other thing we might consider is putting down a few more baited traps and seeing what kind of, because we have the net trap damage buff, we might consider using that to eliminate some of them too. Now, it is going to distribute the 42 damage between anybody that gets caught in it, which may not benefit us like we want it to, but it's worth a try. The other thing we might do is an explosive barrel, which could potentially get rid of everybody and is something to consider. Let's actually do that. I think that might be more cost effective in the long run. How much is that going to cost us? So it's going to cost us money, but if we can get enough of them in one trap, I think it'll turn out to our benefit. So let's put the trap tentatively right there, and we'll put a barrel next to it. And what we'll do is we'll actually sit down a separate barrel, or I'm sorry, a separate bait right here and right here to kind of let all these guys gather, because that's exactly what we want. We want them to be in one big blob when they hit this explosive barrel trap right here. These guys we can deal with once all these guys are taken care of. In fact, it's almost tempting just to use a silver weapon on this one and kind of disband all of this tomfoolery over here and just see if we can trigger this trap and then just fight the rest of them by hand. Might be an interesting strategy. But until then, let's see what we've got. Oh, that's a bonfire. I don't want that. No, go away, bonfire. You suck. Nobody likes you. And so let's see if we can kind of force these little fiery guys to go in a direction that's going to be a bit more beneficial. So we'll block that right there. We'll block that right there. Oh, that's going to block them. Never mind. I don't want that. I'll block it behind right here. There we go. That'll work. And so I grabbed the bonfire again. I'm just completely and totally inept right now. They're both fiery. What we'll do is we'll block that, and then that should allow us to keep them going on a huge roundabout path. In fact, it should bring him right to me in the long run. And if the traps work properly, let's see here, maybe right there too. No, he'll go through it if I put it right there. That's not what I want. Well, in any case, we'll have to deal with them when they come. However, God, I don't really like the way this is turning out. We may buy ourselves some extra time. Let's put down an extra bait on each side. It's going to cost us a little bit of money, but I think what I'll do is I'll plant the wind in a direction that's not going to sabotage me. So maybe to the southwest after round 1. And then I'll run over here, I'll fight them, and that still might sabotage me. Yikes. So I may have to have the wind pointing upwards after I finish my first little bit. So in any case, I think we're about set up as well as we're gonna be. I don't think he'll bother with that right there. I think we'll be okay. Yeah, we'll probably be fine. Everything will work out. So let's give ourselves some extra cash for our effort. There we go. And then what we'll do is, God, we'll bring a magic weapon, I guess. I don't really like... It's always a bit of a conflict of interest to figure out what type of weapon you want to bring with you. We might consider using silver bullets on these guys in the first round. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I may jump across the barricades here and do a little dancing kiting act, and we'll see how everything works. I'm a little bit antsy about this mission. It shouldn't be as difficult as the last one, but all things considered, it should be okay. We're going to bring a magic weapon instead of a silver one. I wish there was something that allowed you to bring both, like a really expensive item maybe. That seems like something that would be useful, but unfortunately it's not made readily available to us. I don't remember if there's anything like that on later, but we'll try and get ourselves set up as best as possible here. So first things first, we have to redirect our wind a different direction, and so that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to come around to here, and hopefully that recharges a little bit quicker than... because our wind direction right now is really going to hurt us. It's not going to be really beneficial, and so let me just set up right here. We'll get our rifle ready, and the moment he comes underneath this trap, we're just going to let him have it. So we should be able to get the trap before he sees us, given our little radius. We should be okay, unless he walks right by it. In which case, we're going to have to shoot him and take him down the hard way. Just buy ourselves a little bit of time here. It's not... oh god. So, we're already outside the breadth of the plan here. God, this is not going well. Okay. Well then. So we are going to have to... you can hear my silence here. My frustration with this situation is palpable. And so I may try... god, kiting some of the ones up there around. I really just don't know, to be honest. I'm going to start moving up that way right now, since we're going to have to deal with the issue anyways. Okay, so we got one of them. And so now we need to hustle, unfortunately. God. Alright. So let's get our gun reloaded here. And we're going to have to fire some silver bullets and just hope we get lucky. We're going to have to kite around just a tad. I think... yeah, I mean, I don't like the situation, but it is what it is, unfortunately. So we'll shout. I don't like that plan, but I don't think we're going to have to use the shout later on. So we've got two of them headed for us now. And I'm going to fall back a ways. And once they get there, we're going to put a round on him. And we're going to run for it, because that's all we can do. And so let's reload our rifle here. And honestly, we're just going to have to do a major kiting job here. So there's another round. And let's run away. They're going to have to go around to get at us, which is actually really good. We're doing this a really inefficient way, but I think in the long... oh no, my stink is going to give me away, unfortunately. So let's get out of their radius right now, because my stink is definitely going to betray me. And so as soon as that last one is around the tip of my stink, we'll take a look. We'll give him another bullet, and so he's down now. And so we've got to use all of our wiles to get away, because they are definitely hot on our tail. This was outside the breadth of the plan. I didn't expect that one guy to step outside the net trap, unfortunately. But what we will do is see how long we can keep this going. They are going to enrage pretty shortly, but I don't think that's going to affect our strategy at all. Right now we're kind of just being a ghost in the mist, just messing with them nonstop. So there's another round. We can dodge roll through our own flames, and they're going to have to go around to get to us. So there are ways to adapt. So what you can see from this is there are ways to adapt to situations. Like, you're not completely screwed if things go wrong. You've just got to be clever, which I think is something that a lot of people run into, where the plan goes awry and they completely just fold their hand automatically. And I think that's not the right way to approach this game. If things go out of hand and they just aren't working out, you've got to vary your tactics up a little bit. So we got a headshot there. I actually think I can beat him. Okay, maybe not. Maybe we'll jump across the flames and go mess with his friend. And so his friend is coming back here too. Oh, he decided to jump across the flames with us. Lovely. Alright, so we are actually going to have to fight him by hand. And so, since we have no... I almost swore. And since we have no stamina left, we are going to have to just sort of handle him off the bat. So we're too exhausted to attack now. We've used up almost all of our silver bullets, but I am really happy that we managed to buy some before everything went completely wrong. He's gonna have to go around the long way, but that may actually hurt us. It destroyed the oh no. Okay, so what has happened, if I was to tell you, is basically what has happened is that our firewall has been destroyed by that Mycon, and that puts us in the spot where we have to actually block that now. The fire guys are going to go straight around, and we may find ourselves in a wee bit of trouble here. And there's the last kill. So let's reload our rifle real quick before it initiates the next round, and we are going to look at our rifle. Or I'm sorry, we're going to look at our map here, and I'm set up the way that I want it to be. And so I think what I'll do is I'll swing down, I'll kill the 2 Will-o'-the-Wisps. We should have enough time. I mean, with 4 baits right there, I don't see any way we're not going to have time to handle the situation. I've got the wind oriented in the direction that I want, and so everything should come together. Even though the plan fell apart in the first place, I think we'll be okay. So let's come over here and make sure we head them off. Hopefully the baits work. I gotta deal with these guys quickly, though, I think. I've got to deal with them very quickly is the feeling that I get. Okay, and so we've got them dealt with. They are eating the bait now, but there's so many of them that it may or may not work to our favor. We've got some sprint, but I don't know how many baits it's going to take to keep them off of that explosive bomb. So the nice thing about the explosives is that the explosives actually don't distribute the damage. It looks like they're through the first bait and onto the second now. I think we'll be okay. I think we've got time. I overexhausted myself running, but I think we'll be okay. God, my blood is just racing right now. This game becomes incredibly tense as you go along. Believe me, he's still enraged on the ground. We beat him to death, but he died with rage in his heart. And so, let's see what we can do here. We can actually, I think, prod this process a little bit if we do this. It's not something that I like, but, well, they're on the last bait already. I'd rather be safe than sorry, to be honest. I would definitely rather be safe than sorry. I'm just going to set up right here. And the moment they get to that second bait, I'm going to try and blow them all up. Now, this was a 60-cent trap, which means that if we don't get our mileage out of it, it's actually going to be a big letdown. We want to make sure this hits as many things as possible. How many did we get? We get them all? Oh, no. Okay, that's fine, though. It's all good. We'll be okay. And so, we got everything but the greater werewolves there. I think they're probably going to turn around and head back to where they came from, or they're going to step on this trap right here, which might be an interesting turn of events. I'll shoot him right in his butt knob, and then handle him. We took a little bit of damage there. We did have to use an Eau de Vie, but all things considered, we actually did pretty well in this mission, I think. So, we'll down the last wolf. There he goes, and we managed to survive December 16th. So, things went pretty well, actually. The next mission is really hard. The next mission, as I recall, I think is the first one where you've got to deal with, I believe, the Wendigos, who are just a nasty opponent. We ended up getting 575 XP. I think we made a pretty sizable grip of cash here. So we may be able to get some long-needed upgrades. Yeah, it's going to put us up to almost $8. Yeah, $8.50 actually. I did bad math in my head. That's why I missed the first grade. But in any case, thank you for joining me here at the Nerd Castle for December 16th of Sang Froid Hard Mode. I hope you choose to join me in the future for the episodes that are coming up. I think we've only got like 8 or 9 left. In any case, it's been a lot of fun. I'm feeling tense. My hands are just ridiculously unstable at the moment, but everything went not according to plan, but everything went smoothly. We were able to deal with things as they came. So I'll see you guys next time. Take care out there, and I'll see you tomorrow.